Yeah, holy! What's good, everybody? It's your boy Romanpuss here with the first of the Giants. Guys, we're going over the one, the only Broggy. Now, Dory will come later. Keep an eye out for that. I will get that guide up as soon as possible. But these two Giants are big characters, the first of their kind, that bring a little bit of different mechanics to the game. So if you're unfamiliar with the mechanics overall, I do have a video that goes over the big characters and kind of what's different about them and their limitations. Also, if you have not familiarized yourself with his skills and traits of Broggy, please feel free to take a look over those now, as I'm not specifically going to be going over those in this video. Now, without further ado, let's get started in my overall Broggy guide. First things up is the stat recommendations. Now, I've been playing him a lot. I've tried out a few different builds. I've tried the Kaido set. I'll get into the metal recommendations, but there's a few things that I have tried out, and honestly, I think HP is a must. You're going to want HP for sure. That allows you to heal when you do get HP cut on your enemy. They will heal you for 3% whenever they hit you, so that's big, and you're going to want that for sure. Now, the second stat is the difficult part. So you want 70% HP, and then you're going to want some attack and defense. Now, if you have 24%, I do think you can get away with 70% HP, and then probably 54% attack, 54% defense is probably the most optimal build. I think the fact that your skills ignore damage reduction, you can utilize that to build attack, and you can really get some one-shots off on people. There are some people that can do some serious damage to you, so you need to be on the lookout for that. So, and there's a lot of people who ignore defense right now, or just destroy as like automatically because they're just HP percent cuts and whatnot. So really defense doesn't even matter a lot of the time. So you do get a defense buff. It's huge. I think it can allow you to take single digit damage several times. So if they're not playing the right units, you'll be taking single digit damage and you'll be an unstoppable god. But fighting the certain units, there's people you got to look out for. So we'll get into that in the counters. Overall, I think my recommendations probably build HP defense and then fit some attack where you can. I think like optimally, actually, honestly, just go attack and then fit a little bit of defense at the end because you'll get your defense stacks. So go full HP, go like 54% attack, and then get a little whatever defense you can fit on there from there, because that's probably going to be the best if you have 18% to work with. If you have only 14%, then probably just go for HP and then build a little bit of attack on that. Now let's talk about some tips and strategies that I've come across as I've been playing. Now, you'll be fighting a lot of Dark Rogers and a lot of CP0 Luchis. Be patient with them. Try and get their dodges out, and then use your skills to cut them. Now, if they're sniping from far away, it's going to be really obnoxious because you are very limited in mobility. You don't have any dashes. You can't do anything to catch up to them. So if they play the range game, you're kind of screwed, if I'm being honest. So try to be careful of that. Your skill one's your most important. That's the thing you want to hold, and if you can get that, you can kind of juke out their dodge or let it go early before they think they're going to dodge, and then you can just wail on them. All you need is to get them HP cut, and you should be all right. Now, when fighting Dark Roger, which we will be doing a lot, if he ever uses his runaround thing, press and hold your skill 1 and utilize that to use your damage reduction so you don't take as much, because that does actually work against his HP cut, so you take less damage. You'll heal a lot, and then you'll inflict the HP cut. So release it as soon as he releases his, and then you guys will kind of go even, and you'll actually come out on top because that HP cut goes a long ways for you. Now, when you're fighting CP0 Lucci, make sure you actually fight him off of your flag. If he goes and walks on your flag and tries to take it, just use your skill 2 and you'll basically one-shot him. But in his attacker form, he does not die. He heals too much, so you want to stay off your flag, and if you fight him off the flag, you have a better chance because your damage reduction is not limited to being on your flag unless you're using a specific metal set, but it depends on which one you're actually using. So just things to keep in mind when you're fighting. I do recommend staying off your flag when you're fighting him. It'll make it much less detrimental to you. Next thing is to use your block sparingly. Now, I know a lot of people are forced with the habit of using dodge, so it's going to take some getting used to. It's taken me a lot of getting used to. So there's a lot of times where I go and I try to like dodge, and I'm like, oh wait, it's a block now. So try and use that at the last minute. You got to use it like early before they're using their skills, but you can't use it too early because then they'll just like try and juke you out, and then you actually get fat heal, you get fat cooldown. So really landing your perfect block is actually big and goes a long ways. So you really want to try and make sure you use that. Don't waste it. Don't too quickly. You want to make sure you have it up so you can get the heal, get the cooldown. It's very important, especially in these fights. Now let's talk about the Broggy Pros. First things first, he has a huge heal on the perfect block. You heal 30%. So there's times where I've literally gone from like 0 to 100 HP in just like one hit, like in the middle of people like multi-hitting me, and it works phenomenally. Or in a big fight, you'll just giga heal. It's crazy to see it actually happen. On top of that, you take away the enemy's dodge while you perfect block and you boost your attack, so you can sit there and wail on them, and that will allow you to hit them harder and kill them easily. So your perfect block is kind of a make or break if you've not caught on by now. You ignore damage reduction on your skill 1. You destroy almost all runners on skill 2 because it does like double damage. You have 70% defense buff, which is big and allows you to survive and can allow you to take single-digit damage depending on if they ignore defense or not. And then the HP cut enemies like with your skills, which is big, and it allows people who keep kind of healing to not be able to heal as much. So if they have 10,000 HP and you cut 5,000 of that, they only have 5,000 max HP. So that means they overall heal less if they're percentage heal based, and they don't have as high of a top HP bar, which allows you to really kill them easier, or your teammates, if for that matter. On top of that, you have damage reduction. It is health based, as I said earlier, and it's not about being on your flag. It's just if you're above, I think, 50% HP, you have 50% damage reduction. So you can walk around and you can fight. You don't have to stay on your flag. You also have reduced cap speed when you are on your flag. So if a runner tries to walk up and just take it in front of you, if you are on the flag, they're not going to be able to take it as fast because you're reducing their cap speed by like 30%. And it's phenomenal. It's honestly one of my favorite traits, and it's huge, and you can feel it. Now let's talk about the cons. First thing is you're kind of slow. I mean, it makes sense. They're giants. They don't really have a dodge. They don't have dashes. They have no mobility things. So you're just kind of a big old block walking around, and you're kind of just a big target. So if you're not using your perfect dodge wisely and you're not healing, you can get one shot relatively easy. I'm not going to lie. So, and if you're not stonked up on Broggy, you are vulnerable. So you got to make sure you get those stacks, get those defense stacks, make sure you cut their HP. Anyone that's arranged and sniping you is going to do damage to you if their HP is not cut. So yeah, honestly, cutting people's HP is pretty much a make or break between whether you win or not. If you miss your skills, it's gonna hurt and you're gonna feel it. So just one thing to be careful of. Also, that's kind of like my second point, and honestly, you're not immune to knockbacks. This is actually one of the things that I found to be the most annoying, is like Rogers just using the Kamusari where they're invincible. They knock you back. You're only immune to knockbacks when you use your skill 1, so that's the only time you can use that. So having to use that is kind of use your skill 1 as a shield in a way when you know they have their skills, because you get the damage reduction and you're not going to get knocked back. So kind of use that to protect yourself if you end up whiffing your perfect dodge skill. So try and go for the perfect dodge. If you don't get that, use your skill 1 and try and hold it out. And then once you get that, you can have your perfect dodge back up and you can use that there. Now let's talk about the characters you counter. First and foremost is kind of most runners in general. You can one-shot, like I one-shot Blue Nose. That's not a big deal. You can one-shot Shanks, basically, if you didn't have the 1 HP thing. Light Shanks is your number 1 person that you counter. You absolutely obliterate him. He almost stands no chance. He can be obnoxious if you don't have him HP cut. With that Kamusari, the ignore defense can hurt. But like 99 out of 100 Shankses you will beat. Like if you may be caught in a vulnerable moment where you don't have skills or something, and some Shanks comes and side checks you. That happens. That's just the game. But overall, you destroy him. You destroy Bluno. Like most runners, you are meant to counter. Okay, who counters Broggy? I'm gonna be honest. Blue Lucci is a difficult fight. He's probably up there in the counters because you're going to have to play it very well in order to beat him, and you have to play it specifically in a certain way to where you can. And you're going to want to build damage on it to beat him. If you're building full tank, you're probably going to get screwed because you're not going to be able to kill him fast enough before he kills you. For some reason, Killer, I got one shot at some point in life, and I am confused. So maybe that's a counter. I think it's kind of odd. The Rapid, I would say, there's not too many direct counters except for the people who just play range. Like, there's a lot of people who can destroy you if they use their skills and stay away from you. But if they get HP cut and they're fighting you close range, I really think you can win a majority of fights. Now, Dark Rogers have proven to be very annoying. I have killed a lot of Dark Rogers, but I've also been killed by a lot of Dark Rogers because there's so many HP cuts you can only take before you just die. So you can only tank so much before people will hit you, and you're a very large target, and they tend to go for you, if I'm being honest. So Watch out for both the Rogers. That's the majority of what you're going to be fighting is both the Rogers at this current point in the meta. The meta may change depending on when you're watching this video, but your counters are basically people who are not HP cut and people who can hit you very hard, aka attack stacks. So watch out for that. Okay, now let's talk about some medals that I have on Broggy. What are some of the best things for him? My first things first is going to be the Kaido set. I think this is always a go-to. You can't go wrong with it, honestly. There's just offers so much to it. You get damage increased, you get skill 1 cooldown, you get lots of skill 1 cooldown, I should emphasize. You get a little bit of damage reduction. Yeah, there's so many things going on that Kaido set, so I will never probably not put that on these for my medal recommendations. The next one is the high damage reduction by Enel. I've had a lot of success with this. I think this one's in a contender for my top medal set. It's either this Enel set or the one that I find right below it is this Luffy set. That one you get extra heals when you knock back, which both your skills do. So you get extra heals, you get some damage reduction, you get some damage increase. It helps you a lot. Damage increase, remember, goes a long way because you ignore damage reduction. So the more damage increase you have, you can basically one shot. I've hit a few times for 40, 50k. It's possible. So Broggy can be an absolute monster if you're playing him right. And this other Luffy set I threw as well. Those are all event medals, so it depends. If you're a newer player, you're probably not going to have access to those, but it depends on what you have to work with. You can mix and match those Luffy sets how you see fit, but it's up to you. And then there's this giant set. If you are playing right now during the event and the time and release of this video, there are those event giant medals. If you have Broggy, there's a good chance you do have Dory potentially, and you can build those medal sets, or though you'll find and play with them in the meta to where you can get their fragments and build out that set. This is a good set. You get full skill 1, skill 2, and then I can't remember, there's the third tag that's like the giant tag. It's either damage reduction or damage increase, one of the two, but it comes and gives you a triple effect, and you get some damage reduction and damage increase by being above 70% HP by those 2 golden medals. So there's a lot that those have to offer as well, and I think those can allow you to have 18% on them, on one of the event medals. So you can throw that in there if you so choose as well. So that's an option for getting 18% a little bit easier. So I just want to throw that out there. And that's our overall medal recommendations for Broggy. I think I found him to be a very hit or miss character. Let me know how you guys feel about him. That is the end of my guide video. If I missed anything or you guys feel like there's some notes that should be told, let me know and I will try and pin them in the comments. But that's all I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did enjoy, be sure to like it and subscribe. It would truly help me out. Check me out on Twitch, Twitter, Discord down in the description below as well. But that's all I have for you guys. I'm your boy Romanpuss, and I'm going to be taking off. Yeah, peace, beautiful people.